What is ordinary time in the Catholic Church? Well, the short answer is there's nothing ordinary about ordinary time. It's actually very special time because all time is a celebration of God's presence in our lives. And we do this, however, in a cyclical fashion because we're human beings. We live on time schedules. So it shouldn't surprise us that the Church has a pattern that follows the course of time. We use weeks in which we measure time, and particularly focusing on Sunday, because Sunday is the cap of the week. It's both the time in which we can look back and say, how have we experienced God's presence and grace in our lives? What challenges have we faced over the past week? But also to kind of recharge our batteries. You know, that's what we do with the Eucharist, to be able to allow the Lord's grace to come in, because God has plans in our lives as well, too. God is involved in our lives. So what ordinary time does is that it celebrates God's presence in our lives, the presence of what we call the Paschal mystery, the whole Paschal mystery, the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, and how that is for each and every one of us and for our communities, our families, a saving mission. Jesus came to save the world, to lift us up, to free us from the bonds of sin that pull us down, sin and addiction, and to give us that sanctifying grace and that sacramental grace that we celebrate in the liturgy. So, during ordinary time, it is the way in which we're not focusing on any particular mystery, like the birth of Christ as we do during Christmas season, or like the death and resurrection of Christ as we do during the Lenten and Easter season, but the whole mystery of God's presence in our lives. And we do that primarily around our liturgical celebrations, which is really focused on the Mass itself. At Mass, we always read from the Hebrew Scripture, typically from the Hebrew Scriptures, as well as from the New Testament, as we call it. And part of that cycle, that ordinary time that we go through, is going through methodically all of these readings, these scriptural readings. They might focus in one year on some epistles of St. Paul, say Corinthians or Romans. In another year, they may focus on another part of the scriptures. But it's a pattern, it's a cycle, it's timely, and it's a reminder to us that God is involved in our lives every day at every moment. So enjoy ordinary time, but you will find the graces are anything but ordinary.